In this quick video guide, we're going to see how we can use this website called architectures.org, which is really useful and it contains a lot of free features and lets us create customized textures with customized patterns like the one you're seeing right now. You can change the color, you can change the pattern, you can change various parameters that we're going to see in just a minute. So first of all, we can look for architecture on the web. So you can use Google or other search engines, and there you go. That's the first result right there. You can click on Architectures for architects and designers. And basically, it will let you download and also create your own seamless textures, meaning that there will be textures without seams that can be repeated many, many times. And here you also have a SketchUp extension if you're interested. And also you can check the SketchUp video course in the channel, and also Revit video course and other courses for architecture and design. Now, this is the home page. You can get the pro version, you can create your page, you can log in, or you can just try, you can just test it by going down here. So we're going to create a material and using the material editor. And we can use that material to create architecture and architectural visualization, design visualization. So before we click on create and start creating our own, we can go down here. We can see some examples. So you can click and open up one of these existing textures with the pattern, and you can even customize it further. So you can change it, you can modify it. You can just download it as it is. And you can see some of these, they have tiles, some of these they have bricks, and some of these are pavements, some of these are walls, and other, well, all the surfaces you need in your architecture. So I think it's a really useful resource if you're creating an architectural project, definitely. So if you find something you like, and click, open up the page, download, and you can save it. I created a folder here for architecture, so I can save all my textures in here, and then I can continue. You can also edit from here. You can save it in your page. You can also go to the source, and you can see all the information in here. So if you click on edit, you will be in the editor and you can modify the existing textures. Otherwise, let's go all the way back, so to the home page. You can also start by creating from zero your texture. So you can see here that we are again in the editor. We have some settings also in the editor, but anyway, you can figure it out. I'm just going to go for the most interesting things. So you can see you also have other textures here. This is the diffuse, the base texture. But if you get the pro version, you can also create the normal map, or the hatch, or the displacement, the normal, the roughness. These are all PBR textures. If you want to create physically based render materials, you may want to go pro, and you have bump and displacement and normal to create 3D effects. And then you have roughness for the glossiness, and then you have metalness, everything you need for PBR textures and materials and shaders. Now you also have a 3D visualizer at the bottom. And by the way, if you want, you can also use a basic and diffuse textures, and you can create normal maps and displacement by using other websites that you can see in the channel. So look for normal in the channel. And this is kind of a normal effect or bump effect or a displacement effect. So where you have like a superficial 3D effect for bricks, or things that are pretty strong. So if you want displacement and all this stuff, you can also use a black and white texture or a grayscale texture like this to create displacement and bump. For the normal, you need other websites. Anyway, let's proceed, and you can look for anything you like in the channel just by using the search bar. So right here, I'm just changing the pattern. So you see you have a lot of patterns. A lot of these are in a pro version, but if you go to the top, these are the basic and I think also most common texture and pattern that you can use. So this is herringbone, and then you can start modifying the rows and the columns. You can increase the number of rows and columns. You can change the dimensions of these, and if you go here, you can change the material. So you can also apply a simple solid fill to have again, you can use this as a displacement map, or like a roughness map, or a glossiness map again. You can upload your own textures but that's a pro version. And you can choose some of these other textures here that are available. Again, different materials like stones and wood, different purposes like for the roofing or for the ceiling or whatever. And again, we can change the row, the columns, and down here you can also change the width and the height. Now, if you are confused at the beginning, you can check the other materials that are already made. You can select one and just modify it slightly. So you don't need to go all the way by customizing everything. You can just take something that is already there, and maybe you can just change the color or the size or the tint. So right here, I'm just experimenting a little bit. You have real measures. So this is now well, this is 1 meter times 1 meter because we are in millimeters. So 1000 millimeters equals 1 meter. And again, we can change the row, the columns, and let's proceed here. Let's change the dimension again. And there we go. When I create like something for the pavement. And then you have also the possibility to change the refinements, the edges and other stuff. Let me go to none. So if you don't want tiling, if you don't want tiles, if you don't want something, if you want something to be uniform, you can also get rid of the pattern and just have a uniform wood material, you know, for furniture, furnishing, industrial design, whatever. Otherwise, you can apply a pattern. Now let's move on. Let's go to the adjustments. You can also change the contrast, the brightness, the hue, and the saturation without going into another graphic design application. You have these adjustments directly in here. Usually, if you use a 3D software like Substance or Photoshop or Blender, you can change this inside your software, but you can do it right here just to see how it looks. And you can also apply a tint overall. So you can make a strong tint, you can make something mild, and etc. etc. You have the hexadecimal code. You can copy and paste the hexadecimal code, and then here are other refinements for the edges. So if you want like some 3D effects on the edges, or if you want a flat or rough, or you know, all this stuff, just go there, experiment. There are a lot of things you can change. So the best way to do this is just go there and play around and see what's gonna happen here. And again, other pro features in here, and then you have surface profiles. So if you want to make like a roof or a strange wall, and then you have other finishes here, surface on the surface. These will appear especially if you use normal maps, displacements, bump maps. Again, superficial finishing. And you can change also the scale, so you can make it bigger and smaller. You can adjust your displacement or bump or normal map in the 3D software to make it more or less extruded. And then you have, well, other stuff down here. And also other PBR options. Tone variations, if you want something more uniform, or if you want to vary the colors and the tiles. And then here, other stuff for displacement settings, etc., etc. So just go there, experiment like I'm doing right now. And again, I find this really, really useful. And so for exams or university projects, but you can also use a pro version if you want commercial. You can share your material, you can save it in your space, or you can download it. So if you want commercial use, you need to have a pro account. Otherwise, you can use it for personal or educational use, as we're doing. And you cannot change the dimensions there and other stuff unless you have a pro version. So let's save the image. Once it's saved, it's there. You can use it. You can upload it in other software or like Substance or websites to create normal maps, or Photoshop to create normal maps, displacements, grayscale, wherever texture you want. I'm gonna make an example with Blender because it's free and open source. So I'm just gonna go in the material of this object. I'm gonna apply a texture image. There you go. I'm gonna open up the folder where I saved the texture from the side, and there you go. Now it's not looking really good. Let's change the tiling. I'm going to use an add-on that is called Magic UV. So I'm going to go to edit mode in Blender, and then I'm going to change it into here. I'm going to change UVW and then box mapping, so you can see the repetition, you can see the tiling. Now if you're interested in Blender, there is an entire course and even other courses in Blender, but this is a Magic UV add-on. You can find the video guide also on this topic. So you'll find everything in the channel, just look for it. And this will be all for this video. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to stay updated. Join if you want to thank us, support us. Check our other video courses in Blender, in graphic design, in texturing, rendering, and much more. So thanks again, and see you in the next video guide.